Little did I know that today's adventure was going to result in me breaking 4 toes and dislocating my shoulder and having to ride roughshod in the back of a car for 10 hours to a Hanoi hospital. In 2016, Andrew, Stephen and myself, led by Linh, set off on a mission to ride up from Hanoi to find the most remote village we could, close to the border of China but in Vietnam.
Oh, it's a bit rugged.
Our aim was to take with us on the back of our bikes supplies to a school. Supplies consisting of balls, paper, pens, textures, skipping ropes, toothpaste, toothbrushes, amongst other things.
Fucking hell. Oh, there's another way down.
The road was crazy rocky and was essentially made up out of very large stones that were being chipped away slowly but surely by the women who lived in the villages, using little pickaxes to break them down into a more even surface.
When are they going to put some concrete down?
Stop your bitching, you've been waiting to get off road all time.
Now the black rocks that you can see on either side of us is volcanic basalt, and it's incredibly hard and sharp, and as much as you didn't want to fall over or come off your bike onto that rocky road, you certainly didn't want to come off the track and run into any of that hard black rock, because that'd really mess you up. Not a good spot to put a foot wrong, as we bypass a lot of machinery on this little track.
Hey boys. All good.
across some of the rocks, some of the road, which is just all still rocky, where they're still chipping away to try and make it into some kind of viable surface. But the locals were on hand and they were very, very happy to help us through. And there's a point there where I thought I might burn out my clutch. But onwards and upwards.
Yep.
You can see now that the track's getting a little narrower but easier to ride on, but you still don't want to take a misstep because sharp on the right but death on the left.
I can feel some adrenaline. That's it. Thank you, my friend. Hey. Hey, boys. Hey, Andy.
So now we're moving further and further up into the hills, and you can see on the right
Land a picture.
there's that razor sharp rock, and more importantly down on our left there's some really sharp rocks, and you do not want to go off down there. I suspect there'd be a lot of cuts and bruises and it'd be very hard to get your bike back onto the track. Every now and then we'd have to stop to let the person in front get a good run up. You can see behind me that someone's waiting for me, and then we move forward. As we got further up into the hills, you take it a little bit more slowly on bends just in case there was somebody coming down the other way. Always remembering you had to give the fellow in front a little bit of space. There's Ling, just in case anyone came a cropper. As we went higher and higher into the hillside, the foliage changed. and became a little bit more prehistoric. Hard to believe roads, let alone tracks, were coming up here to access these villages. And every now and again you came across sticks holding up wires which provided electricity to the houses. Sometimes you came across calves or animals on the side of the road.
He sure is.
Can't even sit down.
Poor little bugger.
All on a very short leash. As the track became steeper and steeper, you can see on the right hand side here that you were never ever going to get your bike back on that track if you came off. Once again, very important to keep the person in front of you at arm's length. Here things become a little bit more civilized. If not a little bit steeper. Allowing the engine to do the braking and basically idling down the hill, not knowing what was ahead of us. It seems sensible to be a little bit careful about what might be coming the other way. So as I'm cruising along, I get to a crossroad and I think, hang on, which way did they go? Probably not right. So I'll stick with the main track and go straight ahead towards the sharp mountains. Can't believe these piles of sticks on the side of the road that are drying out. I'm not quite sure what they're for. Whether they're a totem or whether they're to heat houses. Here we go. This looks like we're coming into a bit of a garden area, and here it is, the school. Our mission accomplished.
We make it! We made it. I don't think they get too many visitors. It's time for the bike to rest. Yes, and the humans as well.
Time for the humans to take a rest.
Understandably, they were all a little terrified when we arrived outside their schoolhouse with their tin roof and holes in their walls. But they soon settled down and enjoyed our gifts, and Steve and I sang the national anthem of Australia for them, and by the time we left, they were waving happily, and we knew that we had done a great thing and contributed to their school community. here we are heading back down. And as I said, you've got to be mindful of people coming the other way. There is somebody carrying an inordinate amount of green stuff on his back. God knows how far on his way back to his village. At least the track on the way back down is familiar, so there shouldn't be too many surprises. But again, if you look ahead, the terracing is amazing. All carved out of the landscape by the locals. And again, they would have had to have removed all of this incredible sharp stone and rock, all by hand. See ahead of us here, the mountains are pretty sharp and it's about 30 degrees, very humid. As we head back down towards the first village. Here are some of those sticks on our left hand side that have been piled up. The vegetation is incredibly lush. And once again, if you look down to my right hand side, beyond the sharp rocks, there's ducks and some calves. And to the left, we come across people chipping away at the stones, carrying rocks for the road. Got a duct for some of these low-hanging electricity poles. So with our mission accomplished, we're heading back down the hills out of the mountains. The track's pretty nice to ride along, and we come across some of the local kids along the way, and Steve can't help himself, offers them a dink, gives them an opportunity to get on the back of his bike and go for a bit of a ride. As much as they're pretty excited by us, they're not really going to get on the back of a bike. again, and we make our way down some of the villages.
Bye bye.
Everyone's so happy, they love to give us a wave. It's like they haven't seen big bikes before, or maybe it's just the big guys in all the leather and rubber and helmets, etc. But they're certainly so friendly. They just want to chat and wave. Some of these hairpin bends are absolutely nuts. The scree and the gravel is very, very slippery. And it just wants to take you off the edge and down the side of the mountain. So you're going to take a little bit cruisy and no brakes basically. Don't bother touching those front brakes. Just let the engine braking do the work.
Bye bye. Every joyous minute.
So here on the right hand side is where the road starts, the big rocks, and you can see the local people with their little hammers chipping away in order to make some gravel
So here we go.
that's going to form the road down here. So it's going to link up to this.
That's pretty straightforward.
You saw this track on the way up the mountain, but have a look at the size of these rocks that the local people are going to have to chip away at in order to make into something that their bicycles and scooters can go up. Bloody hard work.
Plan.
So from here on in, the track changes back into that road, all the broken bits and big rocks, and there's a point soon where we take a left-hand turn down to a small hairpin on the right, and there's a guy with his goats who doesn't get out of the way and I put my foot down. The bike goes over. My boot bends back. I break 4 toes. I dislocate my shoulder, and end up 10-hour journey in the back of a car back to a hospital, and then eventually end up back in Melbourne for some surgery. But it was an incredible journey with Ling and Andrew and Steve, and I'd do it all over again. I'd probably be a little bit more careful next time. But mission accomplished. Went to the most remote school we could find in Vietnam and delivered the goods.